Robbie and Joe from New Zealand, and it's 47, hull number 18.
And Jennifer and Mark Ullman from Starlet. It is hull number 69. It's a Nordhavn 46, and we're from Florida.
Jennifer and James Hamilton from Nordhavn 5263 Dirona, and we're from Seattle, Washington.
We were cruising in the Mediterranean, and our plan was to get across to the Caribbean, and I'm a bit of a sook and I don't like travelling alone. I'm not as brave as these guys. So I really wanted to find another Nordhavn that was crossing the Atlantic. So I put an email out on the Nordhavn owners group saying, hey, is anyone crossing? And I didn't get a reply. I got one reply from Laust, and he said that the Ullmans were crossing that he thought he knew of, and he didn't have any other information, but I managed to track down Jennifer and sent her an email, and I got this fantastic email back, really friendly, going, Nordhavn owners are like family, and yes, we'd love to meet up. And so we met up in Turkey in June last year, and we got on really well with each other, and yeah, we decided we'd team up to make the crossing, so we felt really good about that.
Then we got back together later on in Spain.
Yeah, so we met up.
Worked our way through Gibraltar and had a nice visit in Morocco before heading over to the Canaries.
The safety factor, even though these boats are really very, very well built machine, you know, they're great boats for crossing oceans, you just don't know what's going to go wrong. So to have another boat beside you, it makes a lot of difference that you can rely on. We carry different spares on each boat, so there's a bit of a backup for all sorts of things, as well as the basic boat. If something really bad happened, then you can, you've got a boat beside you, which you sleep better at nights doing it that way.
We compared our ditch bag contents before we left, Joe and I did, and reconciled between the two. And so
I had a major thing missing. I didn't have any toilet paper in my ditch bag. Jennifer had toilet paper.
We would have loaned you some.
Yeah.
Really very expensive toilet paper.
Yeah. A bucket sheet. Yeah.
We had a reasonable trip across. We had basically the trade winds with us all the time, varying from 15 to, occasionally a bit over 25. And a bit lumpy, short swell, and a bit unpleasant, but basically it was a normal crossing. The only thing that we found was different is that we were expecting to get current with us, and I would say 80% of the time we had current against us, even though the wind was from behind, which seemed strange, So we had a slow run across compared to what we were expecting.
But it shows too how you got to be flexible in cruising, because our plan was to go from the Canaries straight to Barbados, and we're in the Canaries looking at the weather, and here comes this big low barreling through the southern, further south than it normally would, and it was going to be right in our path. So we saw that we could divert down to the Cape Verde Islands and make some progress, and then wait there for this low to pass through, and then take off. And so you always have to change your plans and be ready to.
We decided that we'd have a beer at the halfway point across, so we thought, and we were watching the miles tick away, and we had a sort of reasonable time that we expected. It's halfway across, so we're having a beer in the afternoon, and suddenly these whales appeared and went around the boat, and then came up between Starlet and Southern Star, and sort of really had a bit of a show just as we were enjoying a beer halfway across, which was just amazing.
And it was probably the calmest day that we had.
It was very,
This whale went up one side, around the front of us, back around, and he circled us about 3 times, just checking us out.
But then we all started going together, just parallel, and the whales went with us.
Same pace.
Yeah, they followed us for a few days.
Good stuff. We first met Southern Star, Joe and Robbie, in one of our favorite cruising destinations. That's the South Island of New Zealand.
Yes.
Spending time in Fjordland. Man, that's living. Can't beat it. Hard to believe that we end up finding ourselves together again on the other half of the world.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Great crossing for us. It's a long run, by far and away our longest run ever. We ran from Cape Town to St. Helena, which is 1,700 nautical miles. Enjoyed that for 4.5 days, and then went 3,690 nautical miles to get up from St. Helena to Barbados. Long run, so almost more than a month at sea overall, and just the two of us on the boat, so lightly crewed as well. But we had a really good run. Boat performed extremely well. The weather behaved better than we deserve, and so more or less uneventful. I think we arrived with the boat in better condition than we left, and certainly I had more work done around the boat. So everything was very enjoyable, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly good trip, because you never know when you're setting out that far. You know, you can see about a week ahead in the weather, and then we've got another like 3 weeks of you don't know what's going to happen. And it was the boat ran well. It was comfortable. We enjoyed it. We ended up leaving Cape Town a little bit earlier than we planned, because I've been talking to Joe about when they're leaving. It sounds like we were just going to miss you guys, and so then we ended up.
We would have waited.
Well, it worked out super well. Just that you arrived just a few days before we did, and it was great to meet you guys as well.
Future plans for Dirona. Now, the more we cruise, the less we plan, it seems. We kind of, I think what happens is we get close to around the world. We enjoy changing our mind more frequently and adjusting schedules, and when we go somewhere and find, oh, this is great, we stay there longer. And so we're kind of informally heading up the eastern seaboard, so we'll enjoy the Caribbean, up the eastern seaboard of US, maybe up into Canada this year. But what schedule? Hard to say at this point, really. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we're a little bit like James and Jennifer. We don't plan too far ahead. We're going to cruise the Caribbean. We're talking about Cuba, the Bahamas, and then up into Florida. And our insurance says we have to be out of the hurricane zone by the 1st of July. So we're going to plan to be at Cape Hatteras by then. Then we're not sure. It's very hard, but plans are fluid.
We met a Swiss couple, a young Swiss couple who were just getting underway cruising, and they gave us a new word: intentions. We don't make plans, we have intentions, but that's much less concrete than a plan. It seems to be much more what we do. So our intention is to work our way up the Caribbean, through the Bahamas, back to Florida, and we're going to stay in Jacksonville hopefully for part of the summer doing some more retrofit projects on Starlet. And then the intention is to head back south into the Caribbean and then to Panama and over into the Pacific.
And see them. They're back in Australia, New Zealand area.
You will love cruising Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's just
As divers, we will love it.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
long way away.
Long way to go.
It's a long haul. No question.